CPF Special Account versus Medisave Account. Which account to top up first? I have a little update to this video because in the past I always advocate everyone to start with the voluntary contribution to Medisave Account or VCMA first to really accumulate until the basic healthcare sum. But that was in the past before the new policy change. For context wise, there is a combined CPF tax relief cap of $8,000 whether you want to top up to your special account or you want to voluntarily contribute to your Medisave account. And to add on, there's also another $8,000 of CPF tax relief if you top up to your family members' CPF accounts, which makes it a total of $16,000 tax relief potentially. So some of you may have this question, which one is better, special account or Medisave account, and which one to do first? First of all, if you have already reached the full retirement sum in a special account like myself, then this video is not applicable to you. It is more applicable to those who have not started topping up their CPF accounts for tax relief purposes and are wondering which one is better. And I know this whole CPF topic is very complicated, so you come and join us at close to 15,000 members in the Honey Money SG Telegram group to ask your questions and seek helps from the community there. I think let's start by talking about the Medisave account. We call that VCMA, Voluntary Contribution to Medisave Account. My original suggestion to start with VCMA first is because of the usefulness of the Medisave account. You can use your Medisave account to pay for insurance premiums like your private integrated shield plans, like your MediShield Life insurance, your CareShield Life plan, and certain hospital expenses up to the annual Medisave limit. VCMA will also help to fill up your Medisave up to the basic healthcare sum faster, which is at $71,500 this year in year 2024. And also, once your Medisave account has reached the basic healthcare sum, any further contributions to the MA will flow to the special account SA. That is if your SA has not reached the full retirement sum FRS. But let's say if your SA has already reached FRS like mine, then any additional Medisave contributions will flow to the OA instead. Then we were also talking about the supercharging strategy, right? Because your additional MA that now flows to the SA will help to contribute the SA up to the full retirement sum. Which means if you're below 35, you have 8% Medisave contribution plus 6% special account contribution, totaling up to 14% of your gross salary to your special account every month. And let's say if your SA is already filled up to FRS, your additional MA is going to fill up your OA by supercharging it, because 8% from MA plus 23% from OA, totaling up to a supercharged rate of 31% of your gross salary going to your OA every month. Now, the more important thing is that VCMA is considered a voluntary contribution, which means that whatever cash that you have top up to the CPF account via VCMA, they are not reserve funds, which means they can be invested for shielding strategy. Although it is not applicable anymore because the shielding strategy is now gone with the new policy change. And I know many of you are very sad and confused. What am I talking all about? I'll elaborate further after a word from this sponsor. If you are looking for the best trading platform, one of the most important factors is how easy it is to use. Webull is a trading platform with super user-friendly features that even beginners can learn how to trade or invest easily. And here is a step-by-step guide on how to buy shares on the Webull mobile app. Firstly, you have to fund the account, go to Home, then Transfers, then Deposit. Then you can deposit via EDDA, fast or telegraphic transfer, although EDDA is preferred, so link your internet banking account for direct debit. Secondly, go to transfers and select currency exchange, where you have to convert to your selected currency, example US dollars for US stocks and Singapore dollars for SG stocks. Lastly, select your favorite stock or ETF for limit orders, put in your limit price and quantity, then click buy and confirm and wait for the order to fill. If you are new to Webull, here are the welcome offers where you can get free NVIDIA shares, each worth $10 to $500. Firstly, the welcome promo, where you do an initial funding of $500 plus 1 buy trade, you get 7 free shares when you use my exclusive link. Then if you fund $2,000 and above, you can even get up to $2,950 of NVIDIA shares when you fulfill the requirements. Secondly, for the transfer in promo, it is valid to both new and existing users who have not transferred in any shares to Webull. When you transfer in shares worth $5,000 and above and fulfill the requirements, you get up to $450 of transfer fee subsidy, plus up to $10,000 of NVIDIA shares, plus exclusive 3 months US stock free commission. So don't miss these offers. Use my exclusive link here or scan the QR code right here to get your Webull account today. Next, I will talk about retirement sum top-up or RSTU to your special account. This is the next form of cash top-up to your CPF to enjoy that tax relief. So it's purely topping up to a special account until it meets the full retirement sum. And the thing about special account is that it has limited usage until you reach the age of 55. You cannot use your special account funds like the OA to pay for your mortgage. You cannot use it for your medical expenses. your SA is purely for retirement needs. And also, if you do any kind of RSTU to your SA, it's considered reserve funds, which means that reserve funds are not able to be invested because on your 55th birthday, all your reserve SA funds will be utilized to form the base of the new retirement account or RA. And that will mean your RSTU SA funds cannot be part of the shielding strategy, which is not applicable anymore. So after the new announcement has been made during the budget 2024 in February, I think there is the closure of the special account, which also means that the shielding strategy no longer works and is not applicable. So there's no need for you to do any investments prior to reaching your 55th birthday, which also means the reserve funds do not matter anymore since you're not going to do any kind of investments for shielding strategy. And to be super clear, there is no change to the CPF withdrawal rules. You can still withdraw funds above full retirement sum from age 55 onwards. Just that from 55 onwards, those excess funds will be transferred to your OA instead of staying in the SA like before. So is there fundamentally no difference between VCMA and RSTU? I think the answer is still yes, there is a major difference. Because if you do VCMA first, filling up your Medisave account to the BHS, your supercharged SA from the additional MA is going to fill up your full retirement sum faster, which also means you will have less tax relief opportunity from RSTU, retirement sum top up to your special account, because your Medisave account is helping you to fill up the special account, right? So with that accelerated SA contribution, your FRS will be hit much faster. Now if you do the other way, you start with RSTU first, which means no supercharge. You just keep topping up your SA, and now instead of supercharge, it is now slow charge all the way 8K every year to your special account until the full retirement sum. It will still take you many years before you hit the full retirement sum because it is over $200,000 and increasing compared to that over $70,000 in the basic healthcare sum of MA. And then after your SA has finally reached the FRS full retirement sum, you can still do VCMA, assuming that your Medisave account is not at BHS yet. So I would say, if you want to prioritize tax relief opportunities, you should go for the RSTU SA first. If you don't care about the tax relief opportunity and you want to reach the FRS earlier at a younger age, then you can consider VCMA. And previously, VCMA is preferred because of the reserve funds versus non-reserve funds for shielding strategy. But now, without that shielding strategy, then it doesn't matter anymore. So really, it depends on what you really want. Like I said, whether you want tax relief opportunity or whether you want to reach the FRS first. It doesn't matter to me anymore because I have already hit my full retirement sum. But for you, if you're starting out and you're thinking to put in some funds to CPF for tax relief purposes, you have to think really hard about it. Although if I were to put myself in today's conditions and situation, I'll probably go for the RSTU first, since I don't really need to care about hitting FRS early and I just want to maximize my tax relief down the years. But if you're like a blur sotong, you really don't understand what I'm talking about, what CPF policy change, then I urge you to watch my previous video right here where I talk about what happened in budget 2024.